Hello to my BPTV fans, YouTube fans, new fans, and fans of my great guest. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I came up with a special show called The Talking Machine Show. This is my 35th edition of The Talking Machine Show. 2 out of the last 4 were unnumbered. One was with Crash Army. We helped them win an award. And the other was with a Lamont Luncheon with Joanne Forrester and a nonprofit. And it was a great time there. So this is my 35th Talking Machine Show. And I have a great guest. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Al. I'm James Proton. Happy to be here. I appreciate you inviting me to be on the program. This is wonderful.
Well, I'm paying you back because you let me be on the James Proton podcast.
Yes, and it was
in Cannonsburg, downtown's Cannonsburg, at the name of the coffee shop.
Chico Baccello.
Chico Baccello. I don't have that accent, but it was great.
You got to check it out if you're in.
And Lisa's the best there.
Oh, she's awesome. She's awesome, and they're really good with us. And it's really cool. They're very welcoming, very accommodating. They get good stuff too. Coffee's good, food's good.
Yes, and
great
my green tea was good there.
Yeah, absolutely,
so
yeah.
I like that, and it was a free one, so it's one of the best I've had.
It's the best.
And I miss your cameraman Nick, so I let my cameraman Nick excel at what he does, and we're ready to roll now.
Yeah, after take 6?
7 it went
7.
to. Yeah.
So and really that's kind of like ruining your record, your reputation, because you're one take out.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but I'm thinking we got an issue with young guys named Nick. It's a Nick thing.
We do, and we'll work it out later. But we got that out of the way. And where did you grow up?
I grew up right down the road from here in Charleroi, Pennsylvania, Washington County, right on the Monongahela River.
I know the area. My dad refereed basketball in the Mon Valley. All the areas out there. He took little Alan with him when he was refereeing in the 60s and 70s.
There you go.
So I got to travel with my hero dad as a referee.
And my dad was still coaching basketball back then. And
who did he coach for?
Charleroi High School.
Okay.
Coached football and basketball 50s into the mid-late 60s. And
yeah, well, my dad would have been out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Sure
he even went to Somerset and Turkeyfoot, PA.
Used to go to Somerset every summer. That was my vacation every summer. For 2 weeks, when my dad was calling the football staff there, they would go to away camp at Somerset. Nice. And they would there was an old junior high school which no longer exists.
Sure.
Well,
we're older now,
everybody
so things change.
Everybody would the players would all take a cot, and they stayed in the gym 2 a days, and so that was my summer vacation for a long time.
Wow.
Somerset, PA, in August.
Wow. That's a little warm there then.
It's a little warm.
You don't want to be there in the winter necessarily.
No, better than the winter.
Definitely.
Definitely
so
better
you
than
grew up in Charleroi. What school or schools did you go to?
Went to Charleroi High School. Went out to California. Took some classes at UCLA. That didn't really pan out. Got married, had a baby, came back here, and went to tech school. Actually, didn't know what I was going to do, and
did you get a degree then?
I got an associate degree. I managed to cobble enough credits together to get an associate degree, mechanical engineering of all things.
Oh, I understand.
And,
I wanted to be an architectural engineer and got on a different path.
Well, I was going to school to be a teacher. My father was a teacher. I was going to be a teacher.
Yeah, you wanted to follow him.
Listen, you do some teaching, do a little coaching. Your summers off.
Right.
I mean, he was retired with a full pension in his early 50s.
Can't beat that.
He passed away 5 years ago at 84.
Oh, God bless him. Sorry to hear that.
He was retired for 33 years. So he did well for himself.
With your dad being a coach, teacher, did you play any sports?
I did. I played football, basketball, all of them. Baseball, growing up as a kid.
Right. What was your favorite? Did you have one or did you like them all?
Probably basketball. I ended up, later being a coach. I coached for a while at Bell Vernon High School as an assistant coach.
I knew I could pull the sports part out of this. Yeah.
I coached. We had some team. We were pretty good for a while.
Get out.
Yeah, at Bell Vernon, probably, I'm going to say 3 times we were ranked first in the state and had some.
You're kidding, in the state. What conference was that?
That would have been. It would be AAA.
Okay.
We were AAA then.
No, that's some good football.
Yeah. So it was good.
Well, and I have areas like Aliquippa, Charleroi, Monessen.
Well, that's what we were.
Vernon.
Well, Monessen.
I'm naming those.
You can't talk about Monessen, though.
I understand.
You can't talk about Monessen with a Charleroi guy. That's like, that's a 100-plus-year-old rivalry. I can't even say Monessen. I'm not even allowed.
I know. You did well.
If anybody from Charleroi watches this, I don't know if any of my expatriate Cougars are living in Bethel Park that they
Okay.
might see this.
They could.
That
Well,
could be a
this
problem.
this goes from the greater Pittsburgh area.
Really?
From Nemacolin to Cranberry Wexford and all points in the city of Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I got to find
So
out where those guys are because
it
they'll be at my
covers.
house.
And then
You don't-
I have fans on Pittsburgh Sportsline all over 50 states. I
Really?
even have a Palestinian fan of mine.
Is that right?
He contacted me once.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Said I can't help you.
That is awesome.
But different states, I have people that are Steeler fans and Pittsburgh
sure,
fans.
sure.
I do my loose leaf green tea weather report, and people in Florida and other states go, "Thank you for putting our old home weather forecast."
Well, that's the great thing about social media. People love that. And I get a lot of comments. I do a blog every morning and I put it out on Facebook.
Let's talk about that blog.
Okay.
You put heartfelt stuff out there. I love the blog.
I appreciate
You even
that.
talk
Thank
about
you.
your dad and
Yeah.
other people and even
Well,
your
just
own
you-
life.
you
You
know,
open
much
up
like you, much
and
like
talk
you,
about your life. Yeah.
Your dad was a big influence in and mine was as well. You know,
Oh.
he was that personality, right? He
My
just-
dad, I say, was the life of the party.
Same here. Same
And
same thing.
I was a shy kid growing up because of that.
Yeah.
And
My
somehow
dad was
I
the
grew
most
out
popular
of it.
teacher in the high school. That's just who he was. He was just, he looked at teaching as like basically being a showman. That's really what he was. He was
Right.
teaching, but he was
Entertaining, but
entertaining
yeah.
at the same time. That's why
No.
kids loved his class.
Well, you're a chip off the old block, in my opinion.
I appreciate that.
You entertained me for an hour and a half and let me talk about myself, which I rarely do. Little snippets here and there.
And Nick wasn't really ready for us to go an hour and a half.
I know
'Cause
he
was
wasn't.
like, he kept giving us that.
Well, anybody that knows me and my Nick knows I don't warm up until about an hour and a half. So these shows are just a highlight reel of you. So we'll get back to you.
No, we're good. We're
And
good.
you want to shout out to your wife and kids?
No, listen. My Terry Lynn is the love of my life. She's just an amazing human being. I have 3 kids, 2 stepkids, a second
Understand.
marriage for both, and between us we have 12 grandchildren, 8 granddaughters.
Wow.
So yeah,
Keeps it interesting.
you swim in the estrogen ocean a little bit.
Yeah.
When you get all that floating around.
Well,
but,
I was the
you know,
oldest, and I had 3 younger sisters. 4
Okay.
of us in 5 years. So you ain't got nothing on me.
There you go. See, I have a sister. My mother.
I got
is,
3.
my mother and my sister and her family are. In fact, it's my niece Vaughn's birthday today. She's 32.
Happy
So
birthday.
She's out in California as well, and somebody might tell her, "Hey,
Yeah.
your uncle."
Well,
gave you
she'll
a
see
shout-out."
this a day or 2 later, or maybe Nick promised us without all the takes that possibly today.
Might get it today, but
We don't know. He's Nick.
I don't think Nick knew we were going to be 7 takes in before when he said that. That was before.
No, he did not know. So now you're at tech school.
I did the tech school.
You got the tech school. You got 2 kids, a wife at the time.
3 kids.
3 kids.
Had all 3 kids, and it was.
Well, I
you know,
heard
was
the
doing-
2 first. Now we updated.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we had number 3 and 2 girls and a boy in the middle.
Yeah.
But was working and really not going anywhere. Knew I had to go to school and do something.
You wanted to
And
get
that was-
better.
That was the most convenient thing, right? And I had been doing construction work. I worked at PennDOT a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like
You weren't afraid to work.
this. Oh no, I've worked since I was a kid. But it just it's an interesting dynamic when you're trying to do that work. You got kids, you got a family, but
Right.
But we made it work. We made it work.
Right. No doubt.
So we were, married. Girl I dated all through high school.
Yeah. High school sweetheart. And then,
And we were married 20 years before we got divorced. Ultimately, just we're out. It was one of those things where you have kids making adult decisions and
Yeah.
decided we were ready to do this, and we weren't.
Right.
So then you realize that you weren't ready after you're in it.
What
a
do you
little
do
bit.
next?
Then all of a sudden these little humans running around, and so what do you do about that?
Yeah.
Kids are selfish now. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you have
Yeah.
kids. I
I
mean, they're
raised 2
selfish. It's all
kids,
about
yeah.
them. It's
Right.
like they don't care. It's all
Right.
about them. They say, "Well, I'm hungry. I need."
Right.
Yeah, it's like kids.
Well, yeah.
But
I understand.
it's just like they don't. they're-
All right, what'd you do next then after this? We got the dynamics out there. And I think we can all go different, through different things in life.
Right.
Like growing up with 3 sisters, I'm a firm believer in a great mother and a great daughter. Men and women think differently.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'll argue with anybody that says that's
Absolutely.
not true. And to me, it's what you can compromise on in life with them or him or her.
That's what life's about. It's about having balance, right? You find that balance in
Many ways.
Well, it's funny because my Terry is complete opposite of me. She's a total introvert.
Yeah.
Okay. She's never read the blog. She's never watched the podcast. She has her things that she does.
She focuses on her life.
She's a pharmacy
and
tech,
you're a
and
part
she
of
does
it.
her thing. Yeah. Whenever we cross paths occasionally, because but in my day job, I work for an engineering firm, Greenman Peterson Incorporated, GPI.
Okay.
Great firm. I've been in the engineering business 40 years. It was 40 years
God
this year.
bless you. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Congrats.
Yeah, and my guy Nick, his mother, Diane Altland, is who I was kind of phasing out of it because I've been doing it a long time, and it was one of those things where, Al, you do something for so long, there's no dragons left to slay, right? What do? You've done that, done
Living
this, done
proof.
that.
36 years at the Pittsburgh Press
Exactly.
Post-Gazette.
Exactly.
I took a buyout 12 years ago because I said, I'm negotiating my 6th contract, multi-million-dollar contract. I go, where am I going to be in 5 years?
Right.
Newspapers are failing all over the country. I said, I'll get out and I'll do something.
Exactly. So,
So I understand.
So I was happy.
So she gave you some guidance.
Well, no, she did not. That was the thing. So
Okay.
I went and I was doing. I started a little LLC, a little consulting business, so I could keep busy and pay the bills, keep
Right.
keep the lights on. And then she reached out, gave me a call, and said she has this new gig and she's needed some advice. Right.
Yeah.
So we went, met for coffee, and then
Little brainstorming session.
yeah, because I had done that forever, right? So she said, "Wow, I really could use your help,
Yeah.
because what it is GPI is basically a transportation company. They're one of, I think, the 7th or 8th best bridge design company
Oh, okay.
anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And the Engineering News Record is a magazine. They keep track of. They have the ENR Top 500.
Okay.
And in that Top 500, GPI in bridge design is like number 7.
That's
ranked.
huge.
So, oh yeah, it's great. So what they wanted to do, though, they wanted to get into the municipal water, wastewater, stormwater, like sewage and water, things like
Sure,
that.
because they're all failing and falling apart.
Right.
See, I know that
It's
stuff.
going. I mean, it's that side, that market's trending up, and it's going to continue to trend up. So let's jump into this. So Diane is a very technical person. She's got 2 degrees from Pitt. She's smarter
Excellent.
than chemistry and chemical engineering.
I
she
support
knows things.
smart, beautiful women.
She is that, and she's so basically they brought her in to try to build that side
Yeah.
of the business, and that's what I did, business development. I did that for the last 20 years in the engineering business. So
It's right in your wheelhouse.
and she's a good friend. She's been a dear friend since the late 90s. So when she asked, she made me an offer I couldn't refuse. She said, I need your help.
Let's go.
Come in here. So I did it. And it's been great. It's the best company I've ever worked for. It really
Wow,
is.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's employee owned. It's 1,700 people, 60 some odd offices, a lot of support.
Sure.
Great culture. So it's and I get to do the stuff I like to do, which is the podcast and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And speaking of numbers, now
Okay.
we have the next one we record, which is tomorrow morning, is number 30.
I heard that.
See, so
I had my guy
big
researching that
milestone
before we got
big
on.
milestone, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've published 29. We're recording number 30.
And there's usually a week layover, whatever.
Yeah,
Nick
we
gets
try to
inspired.
stay. What we
You
try to
stagger
do.
'em.
Well, Nick's a stickler right now. He's the executive producer. I don't know what this Nick wants to be called, but
Well, he's just a volunteer here.
well, see, I introduced my Nick as the producer one day, and he said actually it's executive producer.
yeah.
So it's like there's a clear distinction there.
Right.
And I said, "What am I?" And he said, "You can be like the host." No, not executive host or anything like that, just a host. And well,
I
you
like
saw
Nick's style.
I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to touch any of the equipment. I can set the microphones up, but I
Yeah.
can't touch any of the
Yeah.
equipment, cameras and stuff like. Whoa, lights? No.
I know. You even took a break, a bathroom break.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
he didn't.
and
he
then
didn't
we
take
did,
it well.
I said, that's about an hour. And he looked at me and he goes, you're good with time.
He did.
And then I go, we got to do another half hour.
And then we did another
And he
half
looked
hour
at
on
me.
basically on prostate problems and pooping and all that. And
Yeah.
he was like,
And one good kidney.
and what you
Third year anniversary.
that congratulations,
well,
that's
yeah.
awesome. That is awesome.
No,
that's
it's
a
a
big
great,
deal.
Yeah, great testimony, great
Real big
story.
deal.
Truly blessed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, God, and thank you, my hero son.
Yeah, absolutely. That is
And,
so cool.
and my surgeon, I'm dropping names, Dr. Tivar at Starzl Montefiore, the
there
best.
you go. And your son was in the Navy.
Yes, yeah, he was in the Navy, so he's a vet.
My stepson, our youngest, is in the Air Force.
Nice.
Yeah. So
No,
he's,
I appreciate that. You know,
yeah, it's good stuff.
all politics aside, we're still America.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll laugh. This is why we're the boots. True story. I found an organization. I stumbled on it, and I asked my stepson about it, and he said, "Yeah, they really support veterans and active military and families.
Nice.
It's called Boot Campaign, right? So they do that. They sell boots,
Wow.
right? So I mean, I still dabble in the operations side of things. So I figured I can always wear boots, So I went on and I ordered a pair of boots, and
Nice
I think
looking boots.
most of the money goes straight to the charity to help military families, and it's
That
really
is
cool.
great.
So that's where I got them. That's why I wear them.
I appreciate the story.
support.
I'm a story guy, so I love stories. And that's another true one for the Talking Machine and James Proten. All right, so now you're starting engineering then? 40 years?
Well, I've been
And
doing that.
How did you find that job? That's what I want to know.
Originally,
Yeah.
it was totally by accident.
Okay, because I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't. When I graduated from high school, if you'd have said, "Do you want to be an engineer?" Okay, I would have thought you wanted me to drive a train because
Right.
my grandfather worked on the railroad. To me, that's what an engineer was.
Right.
Right. I had no idea. So I started doing. I needed a job.
Yeah.
Total honesty. My girlfriend at the time, who
Yeah.
ended up being my wife and ultimately my ex-wife.
Right.
She
You
got
got it all
pregnant.
covered.
Well, and we got married, and we had a baby very quickly, and so I needed a job.
Yeah.
Like I said, little ones they're selfish, Al. I mean, they
And you need to take care of them.
they can't do anything for themselves.
Right.
It's just like I needed a job. I was able to get a job at PennDOT, and through that, just by accident, I met a guy who was in the engineering business.
Met a guy who knew a guy.
And he said, "Hey, why don't you give me a call? We'll talk." So for whatever reason, he liked me, and I reached out to him one day, and he said, "We have a need for a draftsman. You want to do that?" I
Yeah.
didn't know what that was. I didn't know what it was.
You can
So
learn.
I said,
You said, yeah, I can do it.
I did. Yeah, it's like you said. So
That's like we talked before. I say that all the time.
So I have basically at this point have held every job that you can have in the engineering business. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a professional
I was gonna
engineer.
ask,
Don't
yeah.
have the license. I've been a project manager, construction manager.
Right.
Most of my background, what I've enjoyed, has been out actually
In the
on
field.
projects, building things. That's
Yeah.
that's
You
really
like
cool.
seeing it start from scratch and grow
Yeah. So
and make it.
I started out in 1982 thinking I'll do this for a while until because
Yeah.
I needed some money. So 40
Right.
years later, so here I am, still here.
Who knew?
Yeah, I didn't.
No, and your career's still going on with that.
Yeah,
And you're doing a little
it's-
different things now that you were because of Diane.
Yeah. So it's really good, and it's, to be honest, I can make my own schedule. I don't have to go and
I'm
punch a time
noticing.
clock or go into.
I asked you how 2 o'clock on Wednesday would be, and you said it's fine.
Yeah, as long as I got my calendar and
You looked to see if you were doing a Zoom or something, and
Yeah. So, when we were just Sunday, got back last evening, we were at a conference up in Erie.
Nice.
Had some of our group up there. We have our main office here is in Pittsburgh. We have an office up in Erie County in northeast PA, which
Oh,
is
wow.
actually in northwest PA.
yeah, I was going to say that's
True story.
Yeah, we're southwest. Northwest is above us.
In the town where our office is called Northeast.
Well, that should be towards Wilkes-Barre and
It's not.
New Stanton, out down.
It's up north in Erie County. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
we always.
Pennsylvania is a little strange with different directions and stuff. Yeah.
It's bizarre. Yes, when I say I have an office in Northeast PA, that's what they think. Wilkes-Barre up in that area. But no,
Yeah.
it's up on
How'd
Lake
I
Erie.
do?
It's right on Lake Erie. It's like it's up here. So over here. So,
No, that's good. Well, then, how did you get into this podcast thing?
well, basically what I do in business development and marketing is communication. Right? It's relationship building and managing relationships and communication. Right?
Right.
Whether it's written or verbal. So, and that's really I had a boss, mentor, years ago, who suggested that I start keeping a journal, right?
Yeah, that's
And,
always a great suggestion.
Yeah, so I got one. He said, and his thing was, when you wake up in the morning, okay, as soon as you wake up, first thing you leave it on your nightstand, take that journal and write your first thought. Whether it's one word, whether it's a sentence, it could be a whole page, doesn't matter. Whatever's on your mind, because that's the truth. That's
Right,
your truth, right?
Your subconscious comes to conscious.
Close it, put it down, go about your routine, go about your business, and then, at the end of the day, when you come home before you go to
Look
bed,
at it again.
look at it, revisit it. Did you did you apply that to your?
Did you even
right?
use it? Yeah.
Right. So I started to cheat a little bit, and I took from that journaling every day. I started to write the blog out of that. That's where the blog came from.
Well, that's what I wanted to find out about the blog. So you helped save me a question.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
So the blog started, and you're putting your heart out there.
Yeah, I'm all about being honest, simply because
You are, and it's from the heart.
you have to be. You have to be. You know, I was a mess for a while. When
Yeah.
I was young, I was completely and totally ego-driven. Everything was about, you had to have a certain salary, you had to have a certain title, you had to drive a certain car,
yeah.
all of that stuff. And it wasn't until I got to be almost 40 in my late 30s when I just burned all that crap to the ground, right? And
You had the proverbial midlife crisis.
well, pretty much, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, pretty
yeah.
much, and ended the marriage. The marriage wasn't going to no marriage was going to survive all that crap, right?
Right.
So, and my kids were older, so it wasn't like there were little ones in custody and all that stuff. It wasn't that. It was acrimonious to the point where it was, every story needs to have a hero and a villain,
Yeah.
right? In my story back then,
You were it.
the villain's shoes fit me,
Yeah.
right? And to a certain extent, rightfully so.
Sure.
But there's two sides to everything, right?
Right.
And so
Well, nobody on earth is perfect.
right, but we survived it, and then I met Terry Lynn, right?
Yeah.
And that is
That
really
changed your life because I've
Changed
read
my life.
I've read a lot of your blogs and
Changed my
posts
life.
that you put out there.
If it wasn't for her, there's actually some doubt whether I'd even be here. I mean,
Right.
she found me when I was completely
Down and out.
Whatever rock bottom is, that's where I was at.
You hit
it. It was completely dark, kind of like with the camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, I looked like you looking for the camera.
I couldn't see it
Yeah.
today.
So I saw it. I was looking like just like that. I had that same look. There was no way out, right? And she flipped on the light.
I appreciate that.
That's what happened.
They kept the light on me.
I still think they're trying to blind you with that whole filter thing. Yeah, it's like
They told me they have diffusion paper and they didn't use it in any of the camera or the lights at my house.
they just
and they're
brought
blared on me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these were for
I don't
34
think these guys
other
like you.
shows. I don't know.
They're trying to hurt
I'm a
you.
little worried about
Yeah,
it.
but you got to watch. I watch your back. Like lock your doors at night. And watch your back
I'll
because
have to see.
especially Nick.
Yeah.
I think Nick would like to be sitting in that chair.
He will be someday.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to wait.
He's sitting next to me on my show.
I know,
He
that's really
sits
cool.
next to
He's
me.
good. Listen, and he's got that voice. He's got
He
that
does.
voice, man.
He got it. Waynesburg U. He got it.
Waynesburg U, my man Doug Lee. Shout out to my president,
Yeah.
President Lee,
How about what a small world it is?
my next door neighbor. We grew up together.
He grew up with the Waynesburg president.
Yeah, and Doug was absolutely the best of us because we had a great neighborhood. There were a dozen of us. We were all around the same age.
Sure.
And we grew up from little guys to graduating high school.
To adults, yeah.
And Doug was definitely the best of us.
No, that's
good
great.
family, good people.
That's great to hear that. So now the blog's going now for how many years do you have the blog out there?
I've been doing the blog basically for 10 years. Haven't missed a day.
Get out.
Have not missed a day. Even Christmas Day. I get up in the morning. My routine is basically I wake up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
I'm
you're
a
early
morning person.
because I'm early at 6 or so, but you're already
Yeah,
out.
and I do my routine. I try to stay. I stretch. I do some
Well, you
yoga
look in good
and
shape.
do all that stuff.
You look in
Well,
great shape.
I'm blessed with good genes. It's really that. I don't
No.
do anything extreme. I do yoga.
Okay.
Right. And
I do a little yoga myself,
stay active.
but I'm rowing 30 minutes every day
see,
too.
yeah, I don't even do that.
Yeah.
I guess mostly I'm blessed. My parents, my dad. Listen, my dad was a lot like me. He was a bigger guy,
Yeah.
but I mean he was very lean in that way too. So
Right.
I'm lucky. I'm very
Right.
lucky. But
No,
that's
that's
what I do.
good.
And then after
so
I
your
do
morning routine, you do the blog.
that, I do the blog, and then
And it's
I
a daily
go about my
thing.
day. I do it
Yeah.
every day, and I take that first thought, whatever that is, and that's what I write about.
Well, I'm not even going to ask it, but I have to. Are you ever stumped? Because I'm trying to inspire other people.
Yeah,
sometimes,
absolutely.
No, like you do this and you've done it for 10 years, just like I've done the loose leaf green tea weather report
That's
every
exactly
day
right.
for 6 years.
That's exactly
and
right.
I go, who's out stubborning me? James is.
Well, yeah,
And
I
they go,
do
do you get
absolutely.
bored by it? I go, no, that's my first cup of loose leaf green tea.
Yeah.
And I'm honored I haven't had a sinus infection in 22 years.
That's exactly right. That's amazing.
No antibiotics, no pain, no sniffles.
That's
I'm
amazing.
good.
That's amazing. I
So
love
just
it.
like with your blog, that's good.
Yeah.
But when you get a little block, what do you do?
I read.
Is there a process or?
Yeah, no. What I'll do is I'll read. I'll go. I have a few go-to type authors. You know, I mean,
Art of War by Sun Tzu is one of my favorites.
I love that, and that is the
It helps
best,
in life.
And listen, that is the greatest book on sales and marketing techniques ever written.
And
True story.
it helps in personal life too. And I'll give you my second book, Think and Grow Rich.
Sure, absolutely.
And
That's
I
what I'll
can't
do.
even mention how many times I've read each.
Yeah, I'll pull out a book, or or I'll even just I'll go online and I'll look at different articles and stuff like that. And usually I'll read something that'll stimulate. It could just be a sentence.
Yeah.
You know,
Or a
and then
word
it kicks it, or a
sometimes.
word. Sometimes a word.
And
yeah.
you've heard of Jim Shorkey. He's on
Sure.
my show.
Yeah, Jim's the best.
And
yeah.
he is amazing. He was at the luncheon we were at together at the
absolutely.
River Club.
Absolutely.
He was a great guest like you, and he's inspired by Think and Grow Rich. And
Yeah.
he puts that out to people
Successful guy.
because it
man.
helped
I mean, it's
change
like,
his life
Well, even think about it. Think about that guy, what he built.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's amazing.
when he was bankrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had drinking problems.
You-
I mean, you talk.
everybody's got something they have to
well,
overcome.
With you
right?
guys, I just had a bad marriage for 18 years. The two great kids. I didn't hit bottom. I didn't have a so-called midlife crisis because I always live each day as this is my last.
Yeah.
So I'm always having fun and doing something. And
Well, and that's a good thing too. If you ask yourself, if something comes across your plate and you ask yourself, if this was my last day, would this bother? Would I worry
hence
about
I
this?
mentioned it to one of the best
this-
pro guys here.
Would this bother me? Would I care about this if this was my last day on earth?
Well, here's what I do with most stuff.
That's exactly right. Just brush
And then
it
wait,
off.
the other shoulder.
Yeah. No, I just
No,
brush
I
it
do it. We're winding down to about 2 minutes.
off. Okay.
What more do you want to put out to inspire some others? Because you know you pumped me up
Well, I
in
appreciate that. I
27
appreciate
minutes.
that.
And it's hard to pump me up, but you did. Especially with, what are you going to do about one take Al, 7 takes?
Oh yeah. See that's got to be corrected.
I'm
we
pumped up.
can never let that happen again.
We'll move on.
No, I would.
What's your little goal or mantra for people to hold each day?
Mine is live, love, learn, pray, inspire.
That's
And
why I brought it up.
My
'cause you
blog,
said
and I
it all-
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I've
I
read
closed
it
the
because how
blog
do I
off.
know?
And that's what my dad always used to tell me. He called that the 5 pillars of happiness, right?
Yeah.
If you do those 5 things every day,
You're a great son.
okay?
You listen to a great dad.
Listen, live your life to the fullest regardless of what happens. Love everybody that comes along. Learn from everything, right? And pray every day and inspire somebody else. Set out to inspire someone, and guess what? You're going to inspire yourself. So
Yeah. Well,
that's what it is.
I'm trying to do it. I only try to inspire one person a day.
That's all it takes.
That's all I'm trying
Think
to
about
do.
it. Think about it. If we inspire one person a day, then that person inspires one. Every person on earth,
Yeah.
I read this somewhere, that knows 100 people, just by default.
Right.
Right?
I got 4,745 close friends on Facebook,
Exactly right.
plus
So
a
when you
few
think about
thousand extra out there.
Yeah, when you think about that, okay, you and I and everybody that has social media can impact 1 million people like that.
Right.
So and that's really why you do it. That's why you do your show. That's why I do the blog and the podcast, and that's why.
Hey, that's why you're here on the Talking Machine Show.
Absolutely.
Number 35 for me. Not
love
rubbing it in, just saying.
No, that's I'm going to catch up. We got
I-
number 30 coming up, and and yours was very. Listen, your people come out and watch them, and you had a lot of views on yours.
Yeah.
and,
No,
I get a
thank
lot
you.
of positive feedback from it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mostly from old guys who who had different all their ailments and everything. They were happy to know that they
Right.
weren't the only ones that had prostate issues and couldn't poop.
Right, exactly. and then even got a kidney on top of it.
They got a kidney.
Yeah, they needed help.
So there's
And they-
hope.
and they
there's
got
hope.
it.
No matter
Yeah.
what, there's hope.
And my thing is, always look for that silver lining.
Absolutely.
Each day, and try. All I ask of anybody, do the best you can with what you have.
Yep. Every
Can't
negative
do
has
more
a
than
positive.
that. Yeah.
Every negative has a positive hidden in it. You just have to look for it.
On that happy note, we're beyond the 29 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Thank you for being a great guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Appreciate
all
it.
of you for the great feedback and watching our shows. Next one will be up in 2 weeks. We'll see you like October 14th.